The galaxy remembers Darth Maul as a blur of red and rage, a Sith apprentice who nearly killed Obi-Wan Kenobi, who fell into the depths of Naboo's reactor core and who should have died there. But death is a choice for the Nightsisters. Or rather, it's a rule they break. Because Maul didn't survive that fall by luck. He survived because Mother Talzin, her fingers woven with the dark magic of Dathomir, her eyes glowing like embers in the swamp mist, refused to let him. Let's go back to that moment. Maul, broken, his body split, his lungs filling with smoke, his consciousness fading into black. The Sith wrote him off. Sidious didn't mourn, he just moved on, looking for a new weapon. But Talzin? She felt his pain through the Force, a thread connecting her to the boy she'd once watched grow on Dathomir. She sent her sisters to Naboo, sneaking into the reactor's ruins under cover of night, their cloaks blending with the shadows. They carried him back to Dathomir, his body barely clinging to life, and laid him on a stone altar deep in their cave. An altar stained with the blood of ancient rituals, surrounded by candles that burned with green flame. Then Talzin began the spell. Her voice rose in a low, guttural chant, and from the swamp's soil, glowing green tendrils of magic erupted, wrapping around Maul's broken form. They sewed his body back together, not with bacta or metal, but with the living energy of Dathomir energy that burned like fire in his veins, that turned his pain into rage, that made him stronger than he'd ever been. His horns grew longer, his skin paler, his eyes sharper. When he woke, he didn't just feel alive, he felt unleashed. Talzin didn't stop there. She gave him purpose. She told him of Sidious's betrayal, of the Jedi who'd left him for dead, of a galaxy that had forgotten him. She taught him to channel his rage into strategy, to turn his pain into a weapon against the underworld that had once ignored him. And when he left Dathomir, he didn't just return, he conquered. He took control of the Pike Syndicate, bending crime lords to his will with a mix of fear and the magic Talzin had given him. He seized Mandalore, turning a neutral world into a base for his growing empire. He even came close to killing Obi-Wan twice. The galaxy called it a resurgence of the Sith, but it was more than that. It was the Nightsisters' influence, walking in Maul's boots, their magic in his bones, their vengeance in his heart. He wasn't just Darth Maul anymore. He was the echo of Dathomir's power. Now turn to Asajj Ventress. You know her as a Sith assassin, a bounty hunter, a woman with a lightsaber in each hand and a grudge in her soul. But before any of that, she was a Nightsister, a girl raised in the swamps of Dathomir, trained by Talzin to fight, to lie, to survive. Her path was never her own. Talzin chose it for her. She saw Ventress's rage born from the death of her family on Ryloth, from the pain of being orphaned, and shaped it into a tool. She told Ventress, "Dooku will take you in. He will teach you the Sith's ways. But never forget, you served Dathomir first." And Ventress didn't. At first, she played the part of the eager apprentice, learning Dooku's techniques, fighting his battles, even killing for him. But the Nightsisters' influence lingered in her, like a voice in the back of her head, like a warmth in her chest when she used her magic instead of Sith lightning. She never fully embraced the Sith's cruelty. She spared a clone trooper once, hiding him from Dooku's wrath. She cried when she killed a Jedi who'd shown her kindness. And when Dooku betrayed her, casting her aside when Sidious deemed her too weak, she didn't run to the Sith for help. She ran back to Dathomir, to the Nightsisters. Talzin didn't judge her. She healed her wounds, gave her new weapons, and told her, "The Sith are not your family." "We are." But Ventress was already changing. She'd seen too much of the galaxy, felt too much of the conflict between light and dark. She didn't want to be a tool anymore. So she left. She became a bounty hunter, sharp, ruthless, but with a code. She refused to kill children. She helped people who couldn't help themselves. And even when she fought with the Nightsister style. Quick, precise, using the Force like a dance instead of a hammer. The galaxy called her a rogue. But she was a product of Dathomir, her strength, her resilience, even her kindness. A echo of the Nightsisters, walking her own path. Now let's talk about the Sith. The relationship between the Nightsisters and the Sith wasn't just antagonistic. It was a chess game, where every move was a betrayal, every alliance a trap. Sidious feared the Nightsisters. He felt their magic in the Force, a wild, untamed energy that didn't fit his plan for a galaxy ruled by order, his order. He saw them as a wild card, a group of Force users who couldn't be controlled, who might one day rise up and challenge his power. So he tried to eliminate them, first through Maul, sending him to Dathomir to destroy the Coven. But Maul failed, his mind twisted by Talzin's magic. Then through Dooku, ordering him to cut ties with Ventress, knowing she was the Nightsisters' link to the Separatists. Dooku obeyed, but not out of loyalty to Sidious. He had his own plans. He saw the Nightsisters as a resource, something to use, then discard. He took Ventress as an apprentice, not because he believed in her, but because he wanted to tap into the Nightsisters' magic. He thought he could control her, could use her to weaken Sidious, but he was wrong. The Nightsisters didn't let anyone control them. When Dooku tried to kill Ventress, Talzin struck back. She sent Nightsister spies to sabotage Separatist supply lines. She used her magic to plant nightmares in Dooku's head. Visions of Ventress killing him, of the Nightsisters burning Coruscant. She even manipulated Maul into attacking Dooku's stronghold on Sereno, forcing the Count to flee for his life. The Sith fought back. Sidious sent General Grievous to Dathomir with a fleet of droids, ordering him to erase every trace of the witches. Grievous did his best. He burned the swamps, destroyed the caves, killed hundreds of Nightsisters. But Talzin survived, hiding in the deepest parts of the planet, her magic keeping her alive. She didn't stop fighting. She used her remaining power to twist the Force around Dooku, making him suffer for every Nightsister he'd killed. She even tried to take over Dooku's body, using magic to swap their souls. A last-ditch effort to destroy the Sith from the inside. It failed, but it sent a message: the Nightsisters would never be broken. The conflict wasn't just about power. It was about survival. The Sith wanted a galaxy where only they wielded the dark side. The Nightsisters wanted to keep their magic, their home, their way of life. Every betrayal. Dooku turning on Ventress, Sidious sending Grievous to Dathomir, Talzin manipulating Maul, was a step in that fight. And even when the Nightsisters were nearly wiped out, their influence lingered. Maul carried their magic with him, using it to build his underworld empire. Ventress carried their teachings, using them to survive as a bounty hunter. The Sith carried their fear, never fully forgetting the witches who challenged their power. The galaxy might have thought the Nightsisters were gone, but their echoes were everywhere, in the rage of a resurrected Sith, in the code of a rogue bounty hunter, in the paranoia of a Sith Lord. They were in the power plays, the betrayals, the moments that shaped the galaxy. Because the Nightsisters didn't just live, they left marks. Marks that wouldn't fade, even when their swamps burned, even when their coven fell. Now, when you look at Maul, standing on Mandalore's throne, his lightsaber glowing red, remember the green magic that put him there. When you see Ventress, walking into a cantina with her blasters holstered, a smirk on her face, remember the Nightsister who taught her to fight, to survive, to choose her own path. When you watch Dooku and Sidious plot in their dark chambers, their voices low with fear, remember the witches who made them afraid. The Nightsisters are gone, but their influence, it's still here, echoing through the galaxy, shaping destinies, fueling power plays, and waiting, always waiting for the right moment to return. Because the dark side doesn't forget, and neither do the Nightsisters.